Alistair might get picked up here.
Alistair
yeah, there it
makes
is.
more sense to me. You know, when you have the Corky lane, you could get away with a lot with the Alistair, and your damage output into any support that tries to interact with the Alistair, any melee support is going to be fantastic when you have this lane in the bottom 2v2.
As far as his clear was concerned. So feeling pretty good on this Wukong thus far, wanting to race towards that level 6 as quickly as possible. Very close to it, actually. As aiming, getting some damage down onto Polo. Beryl stands beside him. And there it is, level 6.
It's not like he could have sneaked Lucid into the backside or anything like that. So it's just going to be a dragon.
Yep, Closer also taking a turret shot because
doesn't have Lucid here. He's coming over now, but there's a window.
Well, Beryl is going to turn up yet again. This time aiming is there to defend him as he gets behind the door. There's a nice stun to try and lock them down, and the double knockup comes through from Beryl as Lucid dives forward, but first blood goes over as Beryl does fall down. Still Croco is going to die as Showmaker realm warps his way in, and aiming is on the warpath, looking to take down Polo, and there's Lucid to finish him off. The flash forward there from Showmaker finds the Rune Prison onto Hype as well, and they're looking for the feats of warfare, but it may be a second kill. Going to get pushed out here as we'll see whether Lucid can land the smite. Teleports from both of our top laners moving forward, but she is going to get here first. There is the ulti out of Beryl, does find Hype as Polo goes unbreakable, and Shiu is actually going to get headbutted to safety. Still, it's a fight on multiple fronts, and Croco is likely to die to Showmaker as the shockwave comes through yet again, but it's just not enough damage, and Shiu is just ignored throughout.
Also lose this first turret, and I mean, feats were already there, but that's a ton of extra money to Aiming, who is running away with this game.
To this river as Banana Brush control is going to be there, as Lucid comes out as stealth and finds Morgan. He lays down the red carpet, but that is not going to help him when it comes to the culling, as now Beryl looking to continue the follow-up. He's likely to die, but what more can they get? Never mind, Beryl's going to be fine. Showmaker now looking for an angle as the shockwave doesn't quite CC him enough as the knockups are everywhere. Lucid able to flash out, and it's a triple for Showmaker. DK are just styling on them.
Oh yeah, this game may have just ended right here in front of our eyes, as it's another phenomenal engage from Lucid on that first pick. Wukong they grabbed, was able to get there, play around the vision control. Bro had no idea. They knew, like, yeah, he's looking to engage us, but we have to approach for Dragon here. They had no idea the angle at which he was going to come in. Just jumps out, gets the Cyclone. We have flash.
Because he just feels more comfortable with the item. As Bro,
okay,
they feel more comfortable just starting Otacon.
Bro desperation here. I mean, they have all their ultimates online. This is the best fight they're ever going to get for the rest of the game with the prio they have.
Well, this may not be the way to live long and prosper, but we'll see whether they can make something of it as Beryl and Aiming are going to turn up. There's the interruption on the culling as Aiming does have to flash to get out of the way, but he finds the distance with the flash. Shiu's going to go down first, though, as now the Otacon down so incredibly low. It will be taken here by the Bros, but Otacon for Nexus is not a trade I've heard working out very well so far in the LCK.
Ready to trust.
Yeah.
And this Braum angle in this game, you know, we weren't 100% sure about it, but from ahead, and when you just can send your loot on positioning,
here.
He knows where he doesn't have vision.
Well, Polo's going to look for it. He does have the orb, but he's not going to be able to find the target. Beryl might be in trouble, though, as he does throw down the ulti, but finds no joy with it whatsoever and will just die. Still, the culling does so much work onto Morgan. And DK now just find themselves without a Braum.
Okay, this could be playable.
Oh, Shiu looking for an angle here, throws down the circle. This is their engage, by the way. It's Shiu putting his body into the Bros. Oh, that would have been so cute. I think Aiming missed the memo. So what he could have done is realm warp them over. Do what you want, Beryl. He's now moving further forward, does have a fair bit of support, but will get pulverized once again. But when that's on cooldown, there is some opportunities here as Aiming going to get engaged on here as Croco has to use the ulti. Man, Aiming does so much damage. The circle is put down as Shiu goes between worlds, and the Realm Warp gets Showmaker into the base. He's playing Rise like Twisted Fate. Gets a huge shield here from the Seraphs. Shiu's in there as well, but he's going to get taken down. Showmaker follows suit. Hype finds the double.
So contesting this
no
is so
flash, no blast cone. This is just gone, and DK, I guess.
So we're just going to go, well, hopefully they'll get a little bit too excited again, and maybe we'll win another team fight where they
could be in a little bit of trouble. He's just going to Realm Warp away, so he's fine. And Shiu, as a response, is just going to take an inhibitor turret. This is what we were hoping to see.
Yes.
After they kill Croco, go back to Baron, and then go back in. Instead, they decided to lose a bit of a team fight first, which is an extra step that we would not recommend. Still, it's working, right? We can't really fault DK. They are playing a little bit fast and loose, but the results speak for themselves. And Xiu is just being so frustrating here on this side lane, on this Aurora.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rainy day today, but Krako's wind is not becoming lightning very often in this one.
No, it is not.
And
it needs really dry weather for that to happen. As an Australian, we know all about it. You know, if you're from the Northern Territory or around any of these deserts, it's just really hard. Things just go light on fire all the time. All right, the Bros not able to defend any of their inhibitors. However, guess what?
The Nexus is still alive.
Exactly. And as long as you keep that 50 gold to yourself, you can still potentially win the game. However, it is very, very difficult because now you got super minions making things even harder as Kroko, my goodness, okay, that's not a back massage anymore. That is just, yeah, that's a lot of damage there from aiming.
Yeah, is it too hard, sir?
Yes, 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 yes. Please, take your boots off. It's okay. The Cyclone comes on forward from Lucid. It's not really a full engage, though, as DK just pull it back. They have now used the Cyclone, but now there are no Nexus turrets. Braum is going to be the target once again, and guess what? Yes, you can kill Braum. You have lost your entire base, and there is now a teleport bringing Xiu back in. Kroko takes that as a sign to go, as the rest of DK will just end the game. There it is! Aiming finishes it off. It was a pretty classic DK. Just do it, Beryl.
It's rel time.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I don't know if it should be rel time, but it is rel time.
We're just going to barrel down the lane.
Barrel.
Barrel. Yeah.
This is a bit of a weird one, Atlas, in terms of drafts. You know, like, this is kind of the way that if we go all the way back to, hold up, we're going to have Xiu as a target of a dive.
Yep, level 4 gank this time around as Morgan is going to be slicing over. Everyone's flashing for Xiu, who does shield himself up. He's still alive as Kroko comes over and will be able to pick up the kill with the bleed. Of a lane freeze, which is obviously what Poly was looking for there by holding that wave. So they're going to be caught a little
off, by the way, and D+ have a trap set here with Lucid.
Yeah, the flash forward, Chains of Corruption going to connect there as well as the kitchen sink hits the Renekton. He slices and dices though, and aiming has to flash, but he does pick up the first kill for DK. With full control of this area. Morgan, no teleport, no chance. And let's see whether Crocker can actually make something happen. They engage on him, and that is how you blow up the Nefiri. You just kill him there for a reason. That's going to help Polu land things like this, as the exhaust going to be used on him there as well. As nice double knock-up. Beryl is going to die. Can they do some more work towards Showmaker, as the curtain call underground is a very confusing phenomenon, but Hype is just going to cancel that one in the end.
Morgan sees an angle here.
Yeah, gonna pop the Dominus as Xiu. Let's see whether he can find an angle to ult his way out. Decides instead to use it to CC the Renekton. Fully charges the Q. And Morgan not going to be able to find too much because Lucid shows up 5 seconds on the cease and desist.
Yeah, and the, you know, again, next Dragon here is really pivotal for D+. Like, if they get Soul Point here, they can kind of do whatever they want for the rest of the mid-game.
Ooh, Beryl. Deadly Flourish comes down again, and he's caught by another hook.
I see you, I see you!
Yeah. That was Lucid is wrapping around. They're looking for the poke damage, of course, with a Varus in here. It is a possibility, but there is a Renekton now channeling the teleport behind him, and now the engage onto Lucid. Can he actually get in here? I think it's a successful disengage thus far, but it is going to be the Rift Herald going over to the Bros. Now can they find the team fight? That's the question. Is aiming, having to deal with a crocodile on top of him, and he gets shoved right back into the melee. Now we do have the return of Beryl, but he's a little too late. It is going to be Lucid taking down the support, but I think he will be the sacrifice, as there is a slice ready for Morgan, as Showmaker going to have to flash away. Shattering Strike from Beryl to try and save his mid laner, and Kroko just gets Magnet Stormed so that Showmaker can survive.
Well, that's no Magnet Storm for the Dragon, so that doesn't feel great. Xiu is at basically no health here. I'm just going to 4-shot him.
Yeah, Seismic Shove going to pull him back in as well. Yeah. Oh! The curtains have been called. This is going to take some serious DDR from Xiu, who is going to be able to walk his way out of it. Never mind, very nimble is the Lumberjack Scion.
All right, so we're just putting all the buttons on cooldown, except Lucid's ult.
Oh, but that is going to be feats of strength over to the Bros.
Yeah, bro.
Unless Morgan just dies to the turret.
Oh my God.
That would have been feats of strength.
He doesn't have
still
TP.
Could be. How much health? How much health on that thing?
He doesn't have TP. Like, they actually are not going to get the Dragon anymore. Like, what? They spent so much trying to kill Showmaker and fail. They spent so much trying to kill Scion.
They're going to teleport Closer up. Maybe more danger because he's just often in danger by existing on the map.
Bro, you were the Dragon team. Remember?
You were the chosen ones. you had the high ground.
I remember when Bro were the Kingslayers and they beat Damwon, Kia, and like,
hey,
all
honestly,
King Lava. And
okay, but they still do have a gold lead.
True.
They have feats of strength.
True.
They took the mid lane out of
True.
turret. They've done some stuff. They're landing every single shove. And Shiu is just dead. Shiu's also playing a tank. We haven't actually mentioned this.
They saw him. They CC him.
Yep.
And this just continues to be a thing. Sion, he takes a long time to kill, but they will CC him.
Well, oh, that hook was beautiful. And the follow-up is going to be there as well as the Nefiri.
Be able to come for a contest, but like, they need to be faster about this.
Yeah, Hook is going to connect onto a wall here as Lucid, okay for the moment, does get over and does have to flash to get out of the way of the seismic shove. Magnetstorm pulling a couple of them in, but Beryl is still going to fall down. Polu flashes away to not suffer the same fate as the seismic shove is going to be avoided. Cease and desist as Lucid will trade his life, but this time Croco gets to go untargetable, and it is just kind of a disaster here for DK as Bro, they're seeing a target, and then they're CCing a target, and then they're killing a target.
We have a Talia, we have a Nautilus, and you know what, Atlas?
Actually dictate when the fights happen, that can work out, but now it's 34 petals to 3.
Oh, they didn't CC him!
We're gonna all in onto Morgan, who does get on top of aiming. It looked a little scary for a moment, and in fact, it is. As is the Talia locking down a kill. Beryl's going to be the next one to die. Yes, you took down the Lord, but we will kill all of you as the revenge
fight from the pick onto Morgan as 4 kills worth is definitely where they're going to be pointing their fingers here if you're looking at the game state to their 7th to a seismic shove into all the other forms of damage. And Showmaker's caught again.
Yep, another hook. Polu is just going insane today. It's looking real good. The Magnetstorm is kind of decent here from Beryl, though. That will kill Croco as in goes Lucid. Now they're starting to get some of these resets for aiming as Close are the next one to be locked down, but they run out of damage, they run out of buttons, and they may run out of 80 carry as well as the Curtain's thankfully going to get blocked by Lucid. Shiu does finally find himself in amongst the fray.
But fight there, and will eventually get this turret. TP to help secure here for Paulo, and now they can...
Still an 8,000 gold lead, Wolf. It is still the circling of the drain here for DK. Seismic shove after the deadly flourish. You can fish for these all day on the side of the Bros, and now the Curtains are going to be called. In goes the Scion, dead on arrival here, as we can see. Maybe the zombie can get some DPS happening, as Morgan is just going to melt aiming with basically just his ultimate. It's a quadra kill in the end for Hype. And if Morgan hadn't have just Dominus to kill aiming, that could have even been a penta, but that is going to be an ace here for the Bros. And I think a guaranteed best of 3, a guaranteed at least 4 games here on the day as the Bros just ran circles around DK this game.
Oh yeah, and Lucid was just a sandbag to be ripped apart in so many of these exchanges. And the Talia pick working a treat here. They did not trade it for Azir. They went for the Ahri Vi, and they just got dismantled. High volatility on the comp here for D+, and Bro, they struck another flank threat that's pretty difficult to turn on. Like, it's difficult for Morgan to say, all right, like, this Aatrox is flanking, let's go on top of him. Tree.
Well, I mean, so basically what D+ have said, it's just a pile-on composition, right? The problem is, they picked
There's been a lot of discussion about it, and as much as the players probably try not to read, you know, there's a lot of that as he's going to redeem himself here.
Morgan's dead. I have no idea what happened. And Beryl just standing guard. That is going to be the gentleman's agreement here, as both of these teams absolutely full of gentlemen, as we know.
And even though they had Paulo with level 6 and the Galio ult was available for closer, they just let the Grubs go. Safer call. That timing. Yeah, I was going to say that is
Mario Party.
Morgan still has Flash, but doesn't have his ult anymore, and I think he's just dead.
Yeah, he is very, very dead. Does look to lock down Beryl, as one more auto will do it.
These waves and missing minions at a time. Lucid getting some more farm away as well.
Yeah, Croco going to be taking a death mark here as Lucid continuing to try and do damage. Showmaker wanting to catch up and take down the Troll King. And down he will go. There's Feats of Warfare.
And that's kind of how this comp works, as Lucid once again lurking. He's got the right target.
Oh God, yeah. Hype is going to have to try and make it rain, but unfortunately it's rain and aimings instead. And down he will go.
So
Oh dear. Well, there's a taunt onto Showmaker. He's putting the kennel as well, but Tibbers, he likes that. That's another kill for Lucid. Somehow. We'll need context on that one. He went very far for that. Used his flash, survived. And Beryl is continuing to be frustrating here. Closer not going to be backing. And that will spell a lot of damage on these turrets. Oh my god.
First turret and Dragon after getting the kill and not backing. He doesn't care. Well, yeah, this game is starting to really become quite a one-sided one.
Thankfully, the Bros have already taken a Dragon, and so they're not going to get perfect gamed here in Game 3.
Yeah, it's not going to be a double Dragon. They got one objective as well with that Dragon, you know, so it's not like they got perfect feats either. This is how Hype died. We knew this part.
Yeah.
They picked MF here, by the way. And then Palu eats some of Amy's Q. He doesn't even stick for it. Yeah, Lucid just... red buff.
Yeah, just gets him. There it is.
As well committed, I think.
That's going to be some bounty gold.
They're going to try for it. Hype has ult. So they're trying to bait a play here out of D+.
Some squishy members of DK are the ones trying to frontline here as in goes Morgan, finds Showmaker, and down he will go. The turret is still standing, but it's not quite working out. Polo goes over the wall. The Zed is already dead. And Aiming and Beryl will not be able to stand their ground. Shiu is taking it out of turret here on this top side of the map as they do get a second charge on the
Noodle team yesterday. This type of game state, but they get a lot of Croco's health, and it is a Zed, so he should be fine,
We'll see whether he will be fine as the Deathmark does come out onto Croco. The explosion of damage comes in, Subjugate not enough to keep him alive, and Lucid just goes back to his other Shadow. That gives time for Showmaker to make his way over, and Shiu has finally joined the fight, finds Hype, and that is going to get the flash out of the MF. The tree died off camera, and DK right back into the driver's seat. Those tempo vibes, man, they really be helping out. Croco does take a bunch of petals here, petal value, in trade for an inner turret.
Naturally, eventually get taken over by D+ as they reset post-Dragon. And D+ playing a good macro game again.
And I don't know whether the Bros can do anything about this. No. They do have the Nature's Grasp, but it's so far away. Polo moving in, and Lucid able to lock this one down. The Poppycopter is spinning. But Beryl doesn't even need to use it as now Closer on that flank angle is going to get spotted out. Does a lot of damage here to Aiming, who's trying to keep himself healthy. Shiu doing the same thing. Look at that health bar. That item is revolting. And Morgan is caught out on the backside. They are just being surgically removed from the map. If you have a bro problem, DK can solve it for you. There is Shiu taking down the Trundle. And Closer going to be the next one on the menu. They are all about conservation here, though, so the trees will live, but that is all. Gargoyles need not apply. Notre Dame will be taken down in front of their eyes. Down goes the inner turret. There are a lot of weird references in that last play-by-play. I'm sorry about that one, but that was a great fight for DK.
Yeah, bro.
In trouble, gets a speed up from the Molten Shield.
Phase rush out. Get out of there.
Grasp. That's going to lock him up, covered in caps, and put in the bin. Down goes Showmaker. It does take a bit of time, does do a bit of damage there as well. But the Showmaker for inhibitor turret trade is one that scholars have actually come to a determination on. They have said, in fact, getting the inhibitor in the mid lane.
When you call the bro exterminators, they'll throw in an extra inhibitor as well.
Yeah, I guess that's how it works. They got a good coupon on that one as Lucid gets himself out. The bullet time, it's not bullet time. It's time for something else. Maybe it's game 4 time for the Bros.
D+ called in the first 15 minutes right after that ad.
Yeah.
And that is a bounty going over to Morgan. That's something. But my bro leaf is not very strong right now in this third game, Atlas.
Dwindling, to say the least, Wolf, as DK do manage
to see. Hype has IE. Okay, he has it.
Yeah.
Aiming does have do something in this fight. Let's see what she does in these upcoming fights, if anything, in this draft.
Beryl would go in there, wouldn't he?
He would.
As this time, Aiming is going to be alongside him. Lucid there as well. He really wants to kill Closer. He might be able to do so, but the Deathmark is not quite going to do the damage. The bullet time does, though, as Beryl will be going down, but there is also the Galio falling as Shiu gets into the backline. This time, he's on a champion that's actually supposed to do the flanking, and there he goes. He finds the angle, has Aiming there for the cleanup, and I don't think think we're even going to see a Baron, as I think DK just want to end the game.
Even going into a choke point at MF, but you know what? Maybe Hype broke 8K off that one. That's your consolation prizes. D+ are going up to match point here in a very decisive Game 3.
Oh my goodness. Showmaker flash tib at the end. They're going to consider.
Yeah.
That does add some frontline. And there are some champions that do like to auto-attack in this game. That's an Akali lock-in. Closer has decided that this is how this is do or die. Yeah, Beryl also doesn't have wild growth though. Both of them.
They're 6.
Yeah, pretty important as now there's a Grand Starfall. Holu does find the knockup though, and immediately Lucid is taken down so incredibly low. But First Blood goes over to Showmaker. Finally, Closer is able to lock that one down.
It was for Bro. Otherwise, just a trade of kills on the junglers, mid laners. The ones who receive them, as Showmaker's in trouble.
Yeah, Closer actually going to be able to find an angle here as he does go into his shroud, but Lucid's found him! Now Showmaker having to flash away from the Akali, who does have the passive prepped, and there it is! Solo kill for Closer! And Lucid may not actually win this one, as the Shuriken backflip is going to connect. And Lucid gives him a good old thumbs up as he slinks into the jungle, not wanting to go for the 1v1. But in the meantime, Croco is on the dragon. And Lucid's just going to have to go over.
I don't know about if you really want to find an Akali here.
Well, he does find him regardless. As 2 seconds, Showmaker is now back up again as he's just dead. So that is going to be an execution. No kill going over to Beryl this time around.
There wasn't any vision on for like where Lucid was there. Otherwise, he'd make a play here, but he doesn't quite have his ultimate back up just yet.
Okay, here comes Showmaker. There's the wild growth engage from Beryl. Pop Blossom going to pick up the Lulu, but Hype is in no position to deal damage. Aiming, locking down the kill, but the Shuriken backflip doesn't connect onto the Zeri. Perfect executions, exactly that though, from Closer as Morgan's underneath the turret. Showmaker, I don't know whether he's going to be making his way out of this one. He's going to see what he can do as he goes back to the ulti, but there's just too many here. And Lucid, way too late, as Morgan can tank this one up.
For this one, they can actually go up and contest the top side.
Yeah, this is actually really well played by the bros. DK not really worried about dragons. If this Herald is going to get contested, you best hope that, okay, in goes aiming, finding an angle here as Hype, one more auto, the flash does get aiming in there, the wild growth to keep him alive. Can he skate his way out? Does he even want to get out as he gets so much of his health back? And DK find a pivotal fight just before the potential Herald.
That's just such a massive play there from Aiming and Beryl, and they're looking for more!
Oh, in goes Showmaker, just surfs his way.
Showmaker finds a stray Palu and takes him out. It's a ton of gold. Inconsequential.
Soul point for free?
No, I don't think so. And the mid turret being down also really helps him set up for plyo for any objective. That's kind of problematic. And then Jax either takes over the fight, or you trade 80 carries so the fight slows down, and she using the side lane, killing your turrets, you know? The game state here is so tough for Bro. And if you could describe those fights, okay, this could be a scenario where...
oh, wait! Yeah, Closer going to be able to find him here. And Aiming is really dead.
Okay, well,
why was he there?
Caster...
That is feats of strength and the kill onto the Zeri. A whole lot of tempo and momentum back in the favor of the Bros.
I mean, just suddenly off of a pick like that, and...
They do know. So they can watch.
They commit to a watch. They're going to check it out.
Yeah, so feats of strength.
It has to be like, you just don't like flowers, I guess.
I mean, the generosity of the Bros, man.
They are going to get this turret in the bottom lane. The goal, like, look at the mini-map and tell me that Bro have an opportunity. Croco's finding one!
Yeah, Croco gets him. The Pop Blossom comes down, but Aiming just tops the wall. He does have to ghost, has to use flash, gets the wild growth. Lucid also has to flash, but that wasn't... And that was his fault, I guess, as now he's going to dive on top of Hype. Now he's dead, though. Hype going to be able to lock back to the rest of the three. Showmaker continuing to be annoying, though, and Morgan is put on a leash. Showmaker's taking Morgan for a walk. And okay, now Lucid and Croco battling it out. It's going to be about this smite to see whether the Infernal Soul's coming in. But the Zeri's already starting to pop off. Morgan going to go down. It's a bloodbath. They get the Infernal Soul, but they get nothing else. And Croco going to try and make his way out with his life, but I just don't think it's going to work as Showmaker connects the chains. Down he will go. That's the ace. And now let's see what DK can go. Can they just win the game?
I think so. I think it's just done. They went for the fight. They went for the collapse, but Showmaker said no, and D+ continue the run, keeping their chances alive here. Bro, no one to respawn. And I suppose here in game 4, Digon, it's truly Brover.
It is unfortunately Brover for this year, but remember, we will have a plan. That Brotax will still make it, as DK they will too. Now up against Nongshim for that